Imagine a world sealed inside a glass jar. A tiny, self-contained planet of soil, leaves, and a little bit of moisture. Now, into this miniature arena, we introduce two of nature's most incredible survivors. In one corner, we have a team of tireless engineers, a colony of ants, buzzing with energy and purpose. In the other corner, a silent, creeping force that grows in the shadows, the kingdom of fungi. This isn't just a simple observation. It's a battle for survival, a clash of empires on a miniature scale. Who will come out on top? Will the organized social ants build a lasting fortress? Or will the patient, ever-expanding fungi claim the entire world for themselves? It's the ultimate ecosystem showdown, and we've got a front-row seat to watch it all unfold. The scene is set with a layer of damp earth, a few decaying leaves, and a drop of honey for an initial food source. The lid is screwed on tight, cutting this world off from our own. Sunlight provides the energy, but everything else inside must be recycled. This closed system is the perfect stage to witness the raw power of nature's two most determined competitors. The ants will immediately get to work, exploring every nook and cranny, looking for food, and building tunnels. Meanwhile, the fungal spores, invisible to the naked eye, are already present, just waiting for the right conditions to spring to life. It's a contest between frantic activity and silent, patient growth. A test of strategy versus sheer persistence. This epic contest is more than just a fight. It's a beautiful and sometimes brutal dance of life and death. Every move the ants make could either help them or give their fungal opponents an advantage. Every dead leaf they ignore could become a stronghold for the enemy. The air itself, trapped within the glass, will change as both organisms breathe and release waste products. It's a high-stakes game where the environment is both the prize and a weapon. We are about to witness the fundamental rules of ecology play out right before our very eyes. The competition for resources, the cycle of decay, and the fight for dominance are all packed into this tiny, transparent battleground. So, let's get ready for the action. This is nature in its rawest form, a microscopic drama with colossal stakes for its inhabitants. We'll follow the ants as they establish their colony, digging and foraging with incredible teamwork. We'll watch the fungi as they emerge, spreading their delicate, web-like threads through the soil, reaching for every available nutrient. It's a race against time. Can the ants manage their world and keep the fungal growth in check? Or will the relentless advance of the fungi prove too much for them? The jar is sealed, the contenders are ready, and the battle for this small patch of earth is about to begin. Let's dive in. First up, let's meet our six-legged superstars, the ants. These creatures are some of the most successful animals on the planet, and for good reason. They are the ultimate team players. An ant colony is not just a group of insects, it's a superorganism, where every single ant has a specific job to do. You have the queen, the heart of the colony, whose only job is to lay eggs and keep the population growing. Then you have the workers, the all-female workforce that does everything else. They are the builders, the soldiers, the nurses, and the foragers. They work together seamlessly, communicating with chemical signals called pheromones to get the job done. It's this incredible organization that makes them so formidable. Ants are nature's tiny janitors and farmers. Out in the wild, they clean up the forest floor by eating dead insects and other organic waste. This helps break down material and return nutrients to the soil. Some species, like leafcutter ants, are even expert gardeners. They don't eat the leaves they collect. Instead, they carry them underground to grow a special type of fungus, which they then eat. This shows that ants have a very complex relationship with fungi, sometimes as food, sometimes as a crop. In our jar, their instincts will kick in immediately. They will explore, map their territory, and search for any available food source to bring back to their growing family. Their survival depends on their ability to adapt and control their environment. An ant's body is a marvel of engineering. They have powerful mandibles for cutting, digging, and defending themselves. Their antennae are like super-sensitive noses, allowing them to smell food, track mates, and detect enemies from a distance. Inside our sealed jar, these abilities will be put to the ultimate test. They will need to find the honey we've provided, manage their waste, and deal with the rising humidity and changing air quality. Their social structure is their greatest weapon. By working together, they can overcome challenges that would be impossible for a single insect to face alone. But ants also have weaknesses. They are living, breathing animals that need oxygen, water, and a steady supply of food. They produce waste, like carbon dioxide and dead bodies, which can build up in a closed environment. A single disease or a toxic substance could potentially wipe out the entire colony. Their highly organized society can also be a disadvantage if the queen dies, as the colony would lose its ability to reproduce and would slowly dwindle. In our jar, they are not just fighting the fungi, they are fighting against the limits of their own small world. Their strength and their vulnerability will be on full display. Now for the other contender, a life form that is completely different but just as powerful, the fungi. Fungi are not plants, and they are not animals. They belong to their very own kingdom, and they are masters of decomposition. Think of mushrooms, molds, and yeasts. What you usually see, like a mushroom cap, is only the fruiting body. The real action happens underground or inside decaying wood. A vast network of tiny thread-like structures called mycelium spreads silently through the soil. This network is the true body of the fungus, and its job is to break down organic matter and absorb nutrients. It's a silent, hidden empire that is essential for life on Earth. Fungi are nature's ultimate recyclers. Without them, dead leaves, fallen trees, and deceased animals would pile up, and the nutrients locked inside them would be lost forever. Fungi release powerful enzymes that dissolve this tough organic material, turning it back into simple substances that plants can use to grow. They are the engine of decay and renewal. In our jar, there are already countless fungal spores mixed in the soil and on the leaves, just waiting in a dormant state. As soon as the conditions are right, high humidity and a food source, they will awaken. They don't need to hunt or forage, their food is all around them, in the very soil and dead leaves of their world. The survival strategy of fungi is one of patience and persistence. They don't have brains or social structures like ants. Instead, they grow and expand in all directions, exploring their environment with their mycelial network. When one part of the network finds a rich source of food, the fungus can direct its energy to that spot, growing rapidly to consume it. They reproduce by releasing millions of microscopic spores into the air, which can travel far and wide and wait for years until conditions are perfect for growth. In the sealed jar, this means that even if the ants clear one patch of fungus, new patches can spring up anywhere else at any time. However, fungi also have their needs. They require moisture to grow. If the jar becomes too dry, their growth will slow down or stop completely. While they are excellent at breaking down dead material, they are not as mobile as ants. They can't just walk over to a new food source on the other side of the jar. They have to grow their way there, which takes time. They are also in direct competition with other microorganisms, like bacteria, for the same resources. In our epic jar battle, their silent, creeping growth is their greatest weapon. But their lack of mobility and dependence on moisture could become their greatest weakness. The stage is set for a clash of two very different survival strategies. The moment the ants are introduced into the jar, the clock starts ticking. For the first few hours, it seems like a one-sided affair. The ants, driven by instinct, immediately begin to patrol their new territory. They move with purpose, their antennae twitching, tasting the air and touching every surface. They quickly discover the drop of honey, a fantastic source of energy, and establish a trail back and forth, carrying the sweet liquid to a chosen corner that will become their larder. They explore the dead leaves, climb the glass walls, and begin to dig rudimentary tunnels in the damp soil. At this stage, the fungal kingdom remains completely invisible, a silent and hidden threat. The first true encounter is likely to be subtle. As the ants explore, they will inevitably disturb the soil, bringing dormant fungal spores to the surface. Their own bodies might even carry spores from the outside world. The high humidity inside the sealed jar, caused by the moist soil and the ants' own respiration, creates a perfect breeding ground. Within a day or two, the first signs of the challenger appear. A fine, white, cotton-like fuzz starts to grow on a damp leaf or a patch of soil the ants have neglected. This is the mycelium, the body of the fungus, beginning its slow and steady conquest. The ants, in their busy work, might initially ignore it or even walk right over it. The interaction quickly escalates from ignorance to direct conflict. As the fungal patch grows larger, the ants will recognize it as something alien in their territory. Worker ants, acting as guards, will approach the mold. They may try to bite it, pull it apart, or even attempt to bury it with soil. Some ant species produce special antibiotic secretions from their glands, which they can use to weed their nests and kill unwanted fungal growth. In our jar, the ants will deploy these ancient defense mechanisms. It becomes a constant battle of maintenance. For every patch of fungus the ants manage to destroy, 2 more might spring up in a different corner of the jar. This initial phase is a frantic dance of action and reaction. The ants are a whirlwind of activity, constantly trying to clean and control their small world. The fungi, on the other hand, play a game of patience. They don't need to fight back aggressively, they just need to grow. The waste produced by the ants, their feces, and any dead members of the colony becomes a prime food source for the fungi. So, in a strange twist, the very act of living and dying by the ants provides their enemy with the fuel it needs to become stronger. The ants are fighting a war on 2 fronts, against the visible enemy and against the consequences of their own existence. In any ecosystem, no matter how large or small, life is a constant battle for resources. Inside our glass jar, this battle is amplified and happens on a much faster timescale. The 3 most critical resources are food, water, and space, and both the ants and the fungi are in a desperate race to claim them. Initially, the food source is the drop of honey. The ants have a clear advantage here. They are mobile and can quickly transport the honey back to their nest. The fungus can't consume the pure sugar as easily and must wait for it to be dispersed or broken down. But this initial advantage for the ants is short-lived. The honey will eventually run out. Once the easy food is gone, the real competition begins. The only remaining food source is the organic matter in the jar, the dead leaves, and the soil itself. This is where the fungi have a massive advantage. Their entire biology is designed to do one thing: brilliantly decompose dead material. Their mycelial network spreads through the leaves and soil, releasing enzymes that turn these complex materials into a soupy meal they can absorb. The ants, on the other hand, cannot eat dead leaves directly. They are now in a world where the main food supply is locked away in a form they cannot access, but which their rival can feast upon easily. Water is another critical battleground. The water in the jar is a closed loop. It evaporates from the soil, condenses on the cool glass walls, and trickles back down. Both ants and fungi need this moisture to survive. The ants must drink it to stay hydrated. The fungi need the environment to remain humid to allow their mycelium to grow and spread. As the fungi become more established, their vast network acts like a sponge, locking up a significant amount of the available water within its structure. This can make it harder for the ants to find freestanding droplets to drink, putting them under even more stress. The fungi essentially start to control the water cycle of the tiny world. Finally, there's the fight for space. At first, the jar seems huge, but as the ant colony tries to expand its tunnels and the fungal network spreads, every square centimeter becomes contested territory. The ants need clear ground to forage and build. The fungi, however, thrive on covering surfaces. They will grow over the soil, up the glass walls, and across the leaves, physically shrinking the area the ants can use. Tunnels dug by the ants might get invaded by fungal growth, forcing the ants to abandon them. The very ground beneath their feet becomes hostile territory. The ants are fighting for a place to live, while the fungi are simply converting that place into more of themselves. While the primary relationship in the jar is one of intense competition, nature is rarely that simple. There are, honestly, some fascinating moments of interaction that blur the lines between friend and foe. In some ways, the ants can inadvertently help the fungi. As the ants dig their tunnels, they aerate the soil. This process of churning the earth can distribute fungal spores to new areas, effectively planting their rivals in fresh territory. When an ant dies, its body becomes a perfect, nutrient-rich incubator for fungal growth. The ant's own life cycle of birth, work, and death becomes a delivery service, providing the fungi with exactly what they need to thrive in new locations. On the other hand, the ants are not helpless victims. Many ant species have evolved remarkable ways to manage fungi. As mentioned, they are meticulous cleaners. Worker ants will spend a great deal of time grooming themselves and their nestmates to remove fungal spores. They will carry dead ants and waste material to a specific graveyard or midden pile, usually as far from their main nest as possible. This is a form of biological warfare. By concentrating the waste, they are essentially trying to contain the fungal outbreak to one area, sacrificing a small part of their territory to protect the heart of their colony. This quarantining strategy is a testament to their sophisticated social behavior. There's even a bizarre form of harm that fungi can inflict, straight out of a science fiction movie. Some specialized types of fungi, like cordyceps, are famous for being zombie ant fungi. While these specific species might not be in our jar, the principle demonstrates the power fungi can have over insects. These fungi infect an ant, grow inside its body, and take control of its brain. The fungus forces the ant to climb to a high point on a plant and clamp down with its mandibles. The fungus then erupts from the ant's head, showering spores down on the colony below. This is the ultimate act of biological warfare, turning a member of the colony into a weapon against its own kind. In our jar, the conflict is less dramatic but follows the same theme. The fungi use chemical warfare, releasing waste products as they digest their food. These chemicals can slowly alter the soil and air, making the environment less hospitable for the ants. The ants fight back with physical labor and sanitation, constantly trying to push back the encroaching fungal tide. For a time, a strange balance might be reached. The ants clean, and the fungi grow. The ants consume resources, and their waste feeds the fungi. It's a closed, circular relationship where each organism's survival is intricately linked to the others, even as they compete for ultimate control of the jar. For a while, the ant colony might seem to be holding its own. Their relentless cleaning, organized defense, and efficient foraging allow them to maintain a clean and functional territory. They may successfully wall off sections of the jar that have been overrun by mold, creating a fortress within their glass prison. The population might even grow for a short period if the queen is laying eggs and the workers can find enough sustenance. From the outside, it looks like the organized, intelligent strategy of the ants is winning against the slow, mindless growth of the fungi. But inside the sealed system, invisible pressures are building up, and the tide is about to turn. The first sign of trouble is usually a decline in the ants' energy. The initial food source, the honey, is long gone. The organic matter in the soil is being locked up by the fungi, making it inaccessible to the ants. The workers have to travel farther and work harder for less reward. At the same time, the air quality in the jar is deteriorating. The ants consume oxygen and release carbon dioxide. The fungi do the same. As the fungal mass grows, it begins to consume a much larger share of the available oxygen. The air becomes stale and low in oxygen, making the ants sluggish and less efficient. Their frantic cleaning slows down, and their patrols become less frequent. This is the opening the fungi have been waiting for. As the ants' defenses weaken, the fungal growth accelerates. A small patch of mold that would have been cleared away a week earlier is now left to grow unchecked. It spreads over the entrance to a tunnel, trapping ants inside. It covers a dead leaf that the ants were unable to move. The ants' midden pile, their designated graveyard, becomes a fungal stronghold, a thriving metropolis of mold that begins to release a massive number of spores into the air. The very strategy the ants use to contain the threat now becomes the source of their downfall. The air becomes thick with spores, which land on everything, including the ants themselves. The final stage is a complete system collapse for the ant colony. Weakened by starvation and lack of oxygen, the ants' immune systems begin to fail. Spores that land on their bodies are no longer cleaned off effectively and begin to germinate. An ant that dies from exhaustion or old age is consumed by fungus within hours, right in the middle of the nest. This introduces the enemy directly into the heart of the colony. The delicate social structure breaks down. The queen may die, and the workers may simply stop tending to the young. The colony, the mighty superorganism, dissolves back into a collection of dying individuals. The ants' world is crumbling around them. The conclusion of this epic battle is almost always the same. After a period of intense struggle, the fungi emerge as the undisputed victors. The final days of the ant colony are grim. The last few workers move slowly through a world that is no longer theirs. The landscape is covered in a blanket of white, green, or black mold. The air is heavy and still. One by one, the remaining ants succumb to starvation, exhaustion, or fungal infection. Their bodies are quickly enveloped by the mycelium, their complex structures broken down and absorbed back into the fungal network. The once bustling ant society vanishes, leaving behind only the silent, triumphant kingdom of fungi. The fungi win because their survival strategy is perfectly suited for this closed environment. Ants are complex animals with complex needs. They need a specific range of temperature, oxygen levels, and accessible food. Fungi, on the other hand, are decomposers. Their role in nature is to thrive in conditions of decay. The very processes that lead to the ants' demise, the buildup of waste, the death of colony members, and the depletion of oxygen, create the perfect paradise for the fungi. The ants are trying to build a city, while the fungi are designed to consume the ruins. In a sealed jar, all cities eventually fall into ruin. The jar ecosystem doesn't end with the death of the last ant. Instead, it enters a new phase. The fungi will continue to thrive, consuming every last bit of organic material. They will break down the bodies of the ants, the leftover leaves, and even the complex organic molecules in the soil itself. The fungal mass may grow until it has consumed everything available. After this, the fungi themselves will face their own limit. With no new food sources, the growth will stop. The fungi will release a final, massive bloom of spores, which will settle and lie dormant, waiting. The jar will become a silent world, a tomb holding the potential for life, waiting for conditions to change once more. So, while the ants put up a valiant and intelligent fight, they are ultimately defeated by a more fundamental force of nature. They are undone by the very laws of thermodynamics and biology within a closed system. Their complex society is a disadvantage in a world where simplicity and the ability to feed on death are the keys to long-term survival. The fungi don't need to be smart or fast, they just need to be patient. They are the ultimate survivors of this miniature apocalypse, the silent inheritors of this small glass world. The battle is over, and the patient recyclers have claimed their prize. This small experiment in a jar, this tiny war between ants and fungi, teaches us some huge lessons about the world we live in. It shows us that every ecosystem, from a sealed jar to the entire planet, is all about balance. The ants represent the forces of order, construction, and complex life. They build, they organize, they maintain. The fungi represent the forces of decay, recycling, and renewal. They break down, they consume, they return matter to its simplest form. In a healthy, open ecosystem, these two forces work together in a beautiful, continuous cycle. The builders create, and the recyclers clean up, making way for new building. The problem in our sealed jar is that the system is closed. There is no escape for the waste, and there are no new resources coming in. The cycle becomes a one-way street. The ants' efforts to build and maintain their society produce waste and consume resources faster than they can be replenished. This overload of decay tips the balance heavily in favor of the fungi, the specialists in decay. The jar shows us what happens when the recycling process overwhelms the production process. It's a powerful reminder that no system can survive indefinitely without a fresh supply of energy and a way to deal with its own waste. It's a miniature lesson in pollution and resource depletion. This experiment also highlights the incredible specialization of life. The ants, with their social structure and complex behaviors, are perfectly adapted for life in the open world, where they can forage over large areas and their waste is dispersed. The fungi are perfectly adapted to thrive in concentrated pockets of decay. By putting them in a jar, we are taking the ants out of their ideal environment and placing them directly into the fungi's perfect world. The outcome is less about one being stronger than the other and more about which organism is best suited for that specific set of environmental conditions. It's a lesson in the importance of habitat. Ultimately, the battle in the jar shows us that death is not an end, but a vital part of the cycle of life. The ants' defeat is not just a tragedy, it's a transformation. The nutrients and complex molecules that made up their bodies are not lost. They are unlocked by the fungi and converted back into simpler forms, ready to fuel new life should the opportunity ever arise. This is nature's grand design. Life and death, growth and decay, are two sides of the same coin. The tiny dramatic story that unfolds within the glass walls of a jar is a reflection of the great, planet-spanning saga that has been playing out on Earth for billions of years.